this is Amanda with 12-Step Tarot. I'm going to be doing a general reading for the Recovery Collective for Thursday, March 4th, wrapping up the following Wednesday, the 10th. So this is a general reading for the Recovery Collective. We're asking for a message that can be heard, a message that can be received, a message that can be understood, a message that we can use to apply to our recovery process and experience. We're asking for guidance from the collective higher power. And any beings of high vibration that want to come in and offer guidance. All right, it's March. Oftentimes we talk about the third step in the third month of the year, so we'll see if any of that comes through. All right, so I always say my shuffling process is a little time consuming, but I prefer to do it on camera, so whenever possible. All right, here we go. Queen of Swords. Translating thoughts into loving words, speaking truth in a loving way. Being able to understand the difference between your own opinions and expressing your opinions about other individuals versus keeping yourself as the subject matter. What comes to mind is the idea of when people talk about speaking their truth, and then that means that they need to offer people their opinion about things that people aren't asking about, and that by not sharing that they are somehow being dishonest, and that is not true. When you share your opinion about subject matter that is not about you and you are not being asked, that's actually an infringement of somebody's free will. So that's a time to go back to. It's interesting too, because that's really what the third step is about. If you go back and you read those third step pages where it talks about each person wanting to be the actor, the director, etc., and controlling the show, feeling compelled to express your opinion about something, again, when you're not being asked, you really need to check your motives about that. You know, is this something that I need to be saying? But it does appear that you are coming into your ability to know when it's appropriate for you to speak and when restraint of pen and tongue would be a better decision. And so you are exploring your ability to speak loving truth. This is also about boundaries. So your own boundaries may be creating conflict in your experience. Specifically when we haven't had boundaries, or when we've refrained, or when we used to offer our opinion constantly and now we're not. Sometimes the people around us don't really know what to do with our new behavior, even if our new behavior is healthy. The temperance as the opposition indicates that there is an issue here of needing to wait for clarity before sharing. And that this is an indication that your new way of being is actually, it's like your new patience, your new spirituality, your new awareness, this new beginning is actually making things challenging for you. There's a little caution here about not being like in that spiritual ego. Against perceiving yourself, caution against perceiving yourself as more spiritually fit than someone else. So, as I was saying, you've come into this new awareness, this new, or you are coming into it, right? Or you are coming into it, this new awareness of the truth. What is really the truth? What is your opinion? When is it to be shared? When are you to keep it to yourself? What is the healthy, God-centered choice? And you're a little bit confused. You're a little disillusioned with this practice. It seems frustrating to you that you are making the quote right or better choice, but perhaps you're not being received that way. So as you look for somebody else's reaction to your behavior as validation of whether or not you are doing the right thing, you're always going to be sort of disappointed, because people do not react consistently. Different people react, meaning individuals do not react the same way each time presented with the same circumstance. Different people react differently. And so when you're looking outside of yourself to see how somebody's reacting to you making a different choice, you might not get the validation that you're looking for. And this is a little bit disillusioning, because part of your intention with this changed behavior is improving your relationships with other human beings. And this is about coming to a different understanding of what an improved relationship looks like. So an improved relationship does not always look like the other individual validating or liking your choice. You know, an example of words that might not serve you anymore. Being self-deprecating might have been a way of speaking that you had, and you may have stopped being self-deprecating. You may have stopped saying negative things about yourself. Well, if you have friendships or relationships that are built on that sort of negative self-talk banter, they're going to be disrupted when you're no longer participating in that way. This is just one example of a way that we could be communicating that no longer serves us, and so we've stopped communicating in that way. And then you would think that that would only create positivity in your life, but there may be, you might be, quote, triggering somebody else's shadow, activating somebody else's character defects by being in your own healing. Yeah. Yep. So that's, this underlying issue, the card regarding the underlying, the subconscious message validates that. It feels like there's grief. You've suffered a loss. You're making the better choice, but it's not serving you the way that you thought it would. But the truth is that by focusing on what you perceive you've lost, which was actually empty, there actually wasn't anything there. What you perceive you've lost is distracting you from realizing what you've gained, which is actually aspects of wholeness, things that are real and tangible and whole and still abundant. So this is an indication that you brought this change into your experience. Like you actually made a choice to do something different, to change the way that you are communicating, to change the things that you are saying, to change the way that you're interacting with people verbally. And you did quite a bit of work to be able to make that choice. There may have been times in the past where you tried to make this choice, but you were not able to. That's part of your frustration too, is that you attempted to do this in the past because you sort of knew intuitively that it would improve your circumstances. In the past, you had failed. You weren't able to. But now you are able to. And it's not really as satisfying as you thought it was going to be. So the good news is that the disillusionment passes. The feeling of a loss passes. You are able to appreciate what it is you have, created and accomplished for yourself through mastering. Sorry, this is outside of, I'm going to say just what is coming to my mind. Mastering your throat chakra. An active, healthy throat chakra speaks loving truth. Loving truth. And so you have what happens next, the next experience, whether you've already faced this disillusionment, whether you've already faced this yet, or this is a little bit on the horizon, the next thing that happens, and rather quickly, is that you're able to come into the truth of the experience. You're able to get a better understanding of why you are speaking loving truth, and it's not for external validation, and have emotional ease, I guess, comfort, sovereignty are the words that come to mind. Yeah. This is difficult for you. This has been challenging. The cards are really, really clear about what has been happening. You really are moving away from a way of speaking to yourself or to other people that has not been serving you. But it has been really hard to trust. It's almost like maybe you feel like you are not really honoring yourself by not speaking what you think you need to say. Like you're like perhaps you're seeing the truth for the first time in certain circumstances, and so you want to kind of put it in everybody's face in a way that is not kind or loving. And perhaps you've been doing that, but now you can't. You have to move away from that. It's just not serving you anymore. You're a prisoner of this behavior. Damn. All right. Try not to get it so you guys can see. All right. I mean, so you're going to have to make a decision. Or you're stuck between these two places. Do I continue on, or do I go back to this old behavior or stay stuck in the behavior that I currently have because you haven't yet moved into this sovereignty space yet? Do I stay stuck in this behavior, or do I make the change and, go through the trials and tribulations of that change? And this is a change in your behavior. This is hard. This is like a character defect that you've been holding on to out of self-protection, or what you perceive to be self-protection, for a very long time. And as you come to the other side of it, it's not like a switch has flipped and all of a sudden you're just clear of this behavior and you're clear about how to move forward and what the quote right behavior, or the behavior that would serve you and serve others around you, is. It's unclear to you in some ways, or the outcome that you wanted from this behavior change is not immediately satisfactory, and there's a little bit of grief about leaving it behind. it's requiring or will require a bit of withdrawal. So rather than putting yourself in a position to engage and see whether or not you're able to use your words in this kind and loving way, it might be better for you to withdraw from this situation a little bit so that you don't say something that you would regret. And part of this, there's a little bit of fear here. You're concerned about the consequence of this withdrawal. Strength. All right, so at the end of this experience, you integrate as it concerns this issue. You're no longer in this place of confusion. Why did I make this choice? What choice am I making? I thought this would be different. I thought if I changed, or I thought it would be easier, or I thought people would respond differently. I just thought that it would just be fundamentally different. You exit this place of confusion and you come into a peaceful, integrated awareness. And so it's like that saying, pain, growth, joy, pain, growth, joy. So you move through into the joy aspect of this experience. The idea of no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we can see how our experience can benefit others. Basically, that these experiences of being able to overcome these challenges are our biggest asset. They allow us to be whole, and then they allow us to help others. And so I'll just reiterate, this definitely has to do with how you are communicating with yourself or with other individuals. And this is varied for each person. So things that come to mind are perhaps the way you're communicating with your mom. You've sort of pulled back because you were not being kind, and she's not responding well to that because perhaps she'd rather have you, that's the dynamic of your relationship, and she can rather that persist versus experiences change, because it sheds a light on her own shortcomings, and that is difficult for people. We all have that experience. This could be work. This is the ways that this is playing out in different individuals' lives are infinite, but it's about the way that you communicate and needing to make a change there, and how that change makes you feel, how you thought it would make you feel, and then how it ultimately makes you feel if you are persistent, if you stay with it, and if you're patient with the process. So trust the process. You're on the right path. You wanted this change. You asked to have this removed in the past, and it hadn't been, or you'd made attempts and it hadn't been, and now you're in the thick of it, and it's not like you want to go back because you've made it through, but you're just not as satisfied with this portion of the process as you thought you would be. Don't be afraid to withdraw. Don't be afraid to just take some time by yourself. The things that you're missing will be there when you are done with this introspective time. Don't be afraid. Stay in your choice, even though it doesn't look like what you thought it would look like, even though it's unclear at this time. Keep seeking the truth. Keep seeking the behavior that is going to serve you, and keep asking that question of your higher self. Keep asking that question of God. Staying in that space of thy will be done. And you will be led through this experience. All right, I think that's it. Thanks so much, you guys. Check the description box if you would like to get a personal reading, and have a great week.